Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for providing me this opportunity to present my work in this conference, TAUP 2021. I am Anil Kumar, a final year graduate student at India-based Neutrino Observatory, INO. I am going to talk about this work on a new approach to probe non-standard interactions in atmospheric neutrino experiment, which has been published in JHEP. My collaborators are Dr. Amina Khatun, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Agarwala, and Professor Amol Dighe. In this work, we have taken ICAL detector at INO as an example. So ICAL at INO is an iron calorimeter detector, which is 50 kiloton magnetized iron calorimeter detector at the proposed India-based Neutrino Observatory, which will be located at Bodhi West Hills in Theni district in Tamil Nadu, India. The aim of ICAL is to determine neutrino mass ordering and precise measurement of atmospheric oscillation parameters. The source for this detector is the atmospheric neutrinos, which are produced when the primary cosmic ray particles interact with the nuclei in the atmosphere. The unique capabilities of this ICAL detector is that it can distinguish mu minus and mu plus charges which are produced during the interactions of neutrino inside the detector. Hence, it can distinguish muon neutrino and muon antineutrino in the multi-GeV range of energy. So the energy range for this detector is about 1 to 25 GeV, and the energy resolution for muons is very good, which is around 10 to 15%. The baseline accessible to this detector is from 15 km to about 12,000 km, and the zenith angle resolution is less than 1 degree. And the more details can be found in this white paper for the ICAL. If you look at the design of ICAL, it consists of iron layers which are stacked horizontally. The thickness of iron layer is 5.6 cm and there is a gap of 4 cm between them, and inside that there will be active detector element which is called RPC. So RPC is resistive plate chamber where the gas is trapped between the chamber which consists of iron which consists of glass, and high voltage is applied so that whenever a charged particle passes through this gas gap, the primary ionization will get amplified because of this electric field, and those that will induce signals on these pickup strips which are placed perpendicular to each other so that they can give x and y coordinates, and the layer number will be obtained from the layer of the RPC. So in this way we will get x, y, z coordinates, and by combining those hits one can get the track or the SHAR. So now we will go to our analysis. So in this work we are going to focus on oscillation dip and valley feature of the nu survival probability. So if we look at the approximate expression for the p nu mu to nu mi, we can see that it is 1 minus sine square 2 theta 2 3 into sine square delta m square L by 4e. So when this argument of sine square in the second term, it becomes pi by 2 or multiple of pi by 2, that time this sine square will become maximum, and since theta 2 3 is around 45 degrees, so this whole term will be roughly 1 minus 1. At that point this probability will be lowest, which is around 0. So that value of L by E we define as oscillation minima for this channel, and this can be represented as oscillation valley in L by E as a function of L by E, and as a oscillation valley in L comma E plane. So in this paper we showed that ICAL will be able to observe this oscillation dip by using U by D ratio as a function of log L by E of reconstructed muon observables. And here this black line shows the average of multiple simulated sets, and this gray band shows the 1 sigma error bar. So we can see that within the statistical limits ICAL should be able to observe oscillation dip. The good thing about this U by D ratio is that it can automatically cancel most of the systematic uncertainties, and it is a very good proxy for this nu mu survival probability. So we define the U by D ratio as a ratio of upward going events by the downward going events using this formula. So in the present work, we are going to focus on neutral current non-standard interactions, NSI. So this neutral current NSIs occur during the propagation of neutrino through the matter. So at that time when the neutrino interact with the matter fermions, then it can change the flavor of the neutrino via this neutral current NSI, and here this epsilon gives the strength of this NSI. In this model, we parameterize epsilon in terms of VCC, which is the standard matter potential, which is called root 2 GFNE, where Ne is the electron number density, and in this VF, NF is the number density for other fermions which are found inside the matter, for example electrons, up quark or down quark. So the final form of Hamiltonian is this, where we have various epsilon which represent the NSI parameters. So in atmospheric neutrinos, we focus on mu tau channel, which is the dominant channel. Hence we choose to study about epsilon mu tau, and here we are considering only real values, because in survival channel epsilon comes as a epsilon into cos theta, which is the real part of epsilon mu tau. So imaginary part does not have much effect in survival channel of muon neutrino. So our final matrix for analysis in this work will be something like this, where only epsilon mu tau will be non-zero and other parameters will be 0. So we will consider real value for epsilon mu tau, but both positive as well as negative. So next, here we show how we generate the events at ICAL. So to simulate events at ICAL, we use the neutrino flux at INO site and generate unoscillated neutrino events using nuance for ICAL geometry. Then we incorporate 3-flavor matter oscillation with Prem profile, and after that we apply migration matrices by folding the detector properties. So these response functions have been obtained from ICAL GANT4 simulations, which has been showed in this reference 5. And these are the value of oscillation parameters which we are going to use in this work. So most importantly, sin square theta 23 will be 0.5 and delta Cp will be 0. And for mass ordering, we are considering normal mass ordering. The whole analysis can be done with the inverted mass ordering also, but in this work we consider only normal mass ordering. So if you look at how this oscillation dip changes in presence of NSI, so here we show two plots. On the left we show mu minus, on the right we show mu plus. So here we show u by d ratio as a function of log L by E. So here we showed 3 types of curve. So the black one is the standard curve where epsilon mu tau is 0. For red one shows when epsilon mu tau is plus 0.1, and the blue one represent when epsilon mu tau is minus 0.1. So we can see that with respect to the standard black curve, the red and blue both are shifted, and they are shifted in the opposite direction. So we can say that when the sign of epsilon mu tau changes, the shift becomes into opposite direction. Let's say if we represent dip location for mu minus with d minus, and if you look at the mu plus where the dip location is represented by d plus, then we see that, for example, if you look at the red curve shifted to the left for mu minus and it got shifted to the right for mu plus. And same is true for blue, where the shifts are in the opposite direction. So what we observe is that the dip location d minus and d plus, they depend upon magnitude as well as sign of epsilon mu tau, and they shift in the opposite direction. And if you look at the standard curve, in the previous work we showed that d minus and d plus, they shift in the same direction if we change the value of delta m square 3 2. So we propose a new observable, a new variable delta d, which is d minus minus d plus, the difference of this d minus and d plus, which depends on epsilon mu tau, but it will be independent of delta m square 3 2. So next what we do is we calibrate epsilon mu tau with respect to delta d using 1000-year Monte Carlo, which is shown here with this blue stars and blue line, which appears quite linear. And next we obtain 90% confidence level bounds using multiple simulated sets of 10-year data, which is shown by this gray band. So here we show 2 types of band. One is the dark gray band where the oscillation parameters are fixed and no systematics is included. And when we vary the oscillation parameter among these multiple simulated sets, and include the systematics, which are the standard systematics which are used in ICAL analysis. So for each set we vary them using a Gaussian random distribution. That time we obtain this light gray band, which we can see is almost similar, so there is not much deterioration. So first we obtain delta 90% bound on delta D, then we project that on the y-axis with the help of this calibration line to obtain 90% bound on epsilon mu tau. So for fixed parameter case we obtain a value of around minus 0.2 to plus 0.2, so about 2% bound on epsilon mu tau. Same is true for when we vary the oscillation parameter and with systematic. Here also we see roughly 2 to 2.5% bound on epsilon mu tau at 90% confidence level. Next, here we show what happens to the oscillation valley when we introduce NSI. So first we look at the standard case, which is shown in the first column, and in the left we show when epsilon mu tau is minus 0.1, in the right when epsilon mu tau is plus 0.1. In the first row we have showed plots for neutrino, in the bottom for anti-neutrino. So if you look at one plot, on the y-axis we have energy of neutrino, on the x-axis we have cos theta of neutrino. So if you look at this diagonal band, which we call oscillation valley, there it is dark blue, which means the p nu mu to nu mu is around 0. So this is the oscillation valley where survival probability become minimum around 0, and this is perfectly straight line if you look at the SI case for both neutrino as well as anti-neutrino. And there are some matter effects regions which are present for the neutrino case. Now let's say if we go to the positive NSI of epsilon mu tau equal to 0.1, then we see that this oscillation valley bends in the upward direction. If we flip the sign of epsilon mu tau and go to epsilon mu tau of minus 0.1, then we see that this oscillation valley bend in the downward direction. If we look at the anti-neutrino case, then we see that this bending or the curvature of oscillation valley is in the opposite direction compared to what we saw in the neutrino case. So the presence of NSI results in the curvature of oscillation valley, and if we can track this curvature, we should be able to say something about epsilon mu tau. So next we show the U by D ratio as a function of energy and cos theta of reconstructed muons. In the left panels we show plots for mu minus, in the right for mu plus. In the top we take epsilon mu tau as 0.1, and in the bottom we take epsilon mu tau as minus 0.1. So now our task is to fit this oscillation valley and try to get idea of this curvature. Quantitatively we need to measure this curvature. So first we look at this approximate formula of p nu mu to nu mu just for guidance, and here in the 1 mass scale dominance case with theta 13 equal to 0 and theta 23 equal to 45 degree, we see that the survival probability becomes simply as cos square L delta m square by 4e plus epsilon into VCC. So we see that the second term, this contains the effect of NSI. So here we propose a function, a two-dimensional function of x and y, where we introduce parameters z0 and n0 which are related with theta 23, and then m alpha and alpha which are inspired from these two terms, L into delta m square by 4e, that represent first term. So this m alpha is related with the delta m square 32 value, and epsilon mu tau is related with this alpha. And we have taken x square because there are two dependencies of L, one is outside in this L and one is inside the VCC. So using this function and this dependence of alpha x square, now we fit this U by D ratio with this function f x comma y, and we obtain these white lines which are the contours to the fitted function. So this solid white line represent a value of about 0.5 and dashed with 0.4. So this contours represent the curvature of oscillation valley, and we can see that this fitted function is nicely able to track oscillation valley. For example, for plus epsilon mu tau it is bending in the upward direction, for minus 0.1 it is bending in the downward direction. If you look at the mu plus, the trend is opposite. So this parameter alpha is the measure of the curvature of oscillation valley, and it should contain the information about epsilon mu tau. So next, analogous to the 1D case, here also we propose two variables, delta m alpha, which is the difference of m alpha for mu minus and mu plus, and delta alpha, which is the difference of alpha for mu minus and mu plus. So in the plane of delta m alpha and delta alpha, first we plot the calibration curve using 1000-year data, which is shown by these blue circles and blue line, and the color inside the blue circle represent the variation of epsilon mu tau, which is varying from 0.1 to minus 0.1, where 0.1 corresponds to pink color and the minus 0.1 corresponds to green color, and it is varying in between. Using the 10-year data, 10-year multiple simulated sets, we obtain these black points, and now we fit this black point distribution with a straight line so that we obtain this red line, which is roughly the, you can say, the major axis of this elliptical kind of distribution. Now parallel to this red line, we draw two black lines such that 90% of the points are inside this gray region and 10% points are outside this gray region, 5% on the top, 5% on the bottom. So this gray band or these black lines, they intersect the blue line at these 2 points, which give us the value of epsilon mu tau at 90% confidence level, which we show here. In this plot, we show only fixed parameter, no systematic case, but a similar plot has been made to obtain the value for the varied parameter and with systematic case. So we see that we observe about 2% bounds on epsilon mu tau. So finally we will conclude the ICAL has a good reconstruction efficiency in mu minus and mu plus over a wide range of energy and direction. The oscillation dip and oscillation valley can be observed in reconstructed muon observables at ICAL. We propose a new approach to utilize oscillation dip and valley to probe NSI parameter epsilon mu tau. So a new variable representing the shift in location of dip for mu minus and mu plus is used to constrain NSI parameter epsilon mu tau. And the contrast in curvature of valley for mu minus and mu plus is used to constrain NSI parameter epsilon mu tau in an independent way. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to write at this email ID anil.k@iopb.res.in. Thank you again.